Morena, tēnā koutou katoa. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ryman Healthcare's half-year results presentation. My name's David Kerr. I'm Chairman of the Board of Ryman Healthcare. To my right, I have well-known Gordy McLeod, our Chief Executive, and beyond him, of course, is David Bennett, our Chief Financial Officer. So thanks to everyone who's made it along this morning, and welcome to everyone who's watching live. This morning's format includes an overview of our progress from me, followed by presentations firstly by Gordy and then by David. Gordy will give you an operational review of the first 6 months, and David will then give you some greater detail on our financial results. At the end of the presentation, we want to open the session up for questions from the floor, and then following that we'll also take questions of any callers who are on the conference call line. We'll bring a microphone around to those of you with a question in the room in order that you're easily heard. It's also important that people on the webcast can hear you clearly, and so for those of you listening on the phone conference, the operator will advise you when you can ask a question. We anticipate wrapping up around 9:45, but that obviously depends on the questions that you bring to the table. So, our results today reflect a good start to the year. We're pleased to see the amount of momentum building for the second half. The headline numbers were the unaudited underlying profit rose 13.9% to $97.1 million. The reported, or IFRS profit, which includes the unrealised fair value gains on investment property, was $169.5 million, which is 16.3% down from last year. And David will give you some more detail on that shortly. Our underlying profit, however, which reflects our trading and is used to determine our dividend, showed a pleasing increase, and we're expecting our full-year underlying profit to be in the range of $223 million to $238 million. The half-year dividend has been lifted to 10.8 cents per share, in line with the growth in the underlying profit, with a payment on December 14 and a record date of December 7. The operating cash flows increased 24.4% to $217.8 million. We have 16 new villages in the pipeline, 9 in New Zealand and 7 in Victoria. We're in a strong financial position to support our care ambitions. We passed a significant milestone in the first half, with assets reaching $2.1 billion, up 13.7% on September 2017. There are two main themes that you'll see run through our presentations today. Firstly, the investment in the business we've undertaken over recent times, and secondly, the momentum we've attained that will underpin our growth over future years. In terms of investment, the fundamental passion we have as a company is to care for our residents as well as we possibly can. As I've said on previous occasions, this is, at its heart, a care provision company. We are acutely aware that our employee experience is absolutely critical to the delivery of high-quality care. We've invested extensively in our staff over the last couple of years. Most recently, it was the significant investment in our registered nurses' remuneration at a cost of $5 million this year. Across the aged care sector in New Zealand, there are well over 500 vacancies for registered nurses. The Aged Care Association has said publicly that there is a torrent of registered nurses leaving the sector. This company has a total of 5 full-time vacancies for registered nurses. And I'd suggest to you that this reflects the investment we've made not only with respect to remuneration, but in the experience that our staff have in working for us. In addition, despite the steady increase in demand for aged care services, we're seeing many smaller operators being seriously challenged by the inadequate government funding model that exists for aged residential care. And the recent introduction of the pay equity settlement has further challenged many. We've seen some well-respected operators closing purely for financial reasons recently. In terms of the actual work experience of our staff, we're aware that the drivers of staff engagement, in addition to being paid fairly, relate to 3 discrete areas: purpose, mastery and autonomy. Staff are engaged when they have a purpose They understand their role, they like it, they feel a sense of passion for it. They also have to feel that they are acquiring mastery of the skills that they need for that purpose. They want to be the best at what they do. And finally, they want autonomy. They want to be trusted in their role. Trust is essential in care, and we have a huge amount of trust in what they do. We know we have a highly engaged workforce with a passion for care. They love caring for our residents. We see that in every village, every day. Our staff are wonderful, and they honestly make us proud. Our investment in tools such as my Ryman platform, which is now fully operational in New Zealand, is proving to be very successful. This aims to assist with both mastery and autonomy and the residents' experience. I visit villages on a regular basis, and I'm always keen to talk with the staff and the residents. Without exception, the staff tell me that the recent further increased levels of functionality that the platform is delivering has really changed their work experience. More time is made available to care because assessments and reports are largely done on the My Ryman app with the resident in their room. The resident and the family then have greater awareness and greater engagement with the care that we're providing, and they also can read the tablet in the family member's room. Furthermore, the regular audits that are undertaken both by the Ryman internal audit team and the Ministry of Health external auditors have been further enabled to quite significant degree by the My Ryman application. The auditors have been delighted at the comprehensiveness of the tool. I'm sure this is one of the factors in our achieving 4-year certification, which is the gold standard in certification for so many of our villages. In July 2017, we had 15 villages with this level of certification and 14 with 3-year certification. As of today, we have 23 villages with 4-year certification and 7 with 3-year certification. What a wonderful effort by all our care staff who've worked together so hard to achieve that result. Investment in our leadership program across the whole company has also been an area of significant focus, and this is a program that will clearly continue in perpetuity. That, of course, is focused on the staff acquiring mastery and greater autonomy. We're committed to developing capable, committed staff because we know that that will translate into a better experience for our residents. The physical environment has also been a further area of investment. Gordy will talk to you about the new villages, but one needs to remember we're also undertaking a major refurbishment on at least 2 villages each year. This slide shows you the Rowena Jackson and Malvina major villages, which have both undergone major refurbishments in recent times. This enables us to deliver on our desire to keep all the villages as contemporary as possible and ensure that the care facilities and the common areas, such as the kitchens and the recreational areas, are kept up to date and deliver on the expectations that our residents have now of the Ryman brand. As a company that provides care, our learning orientation remains high. We're keen to continue to improve the care provision, and this is, of course, underpinned by both a combination of research and innovation. We recently commissioned the Stirling University from the United Kingdom to undertake an audit of the physical spaces and environment that we develop for our residents with dementia. They are the international authorities on care facilities for residents with dementia and cognitive impairment. We held a 2-day summit with them, getting them together in one room with our builders, our nurses, our clinicians, architects, property team, and as well as key contractors. And from that engagement, we've learned ways in which we can improve our design yet further. We've also engaged a medical practitioner who's a well-regarded researcher. Her skills, combined with the investment that we've made in business intelligence and data collection over recent years, enables extensive comparisons between village operations, as diverse as the frequency of falls, the frequency of infections, and the value proposition of some prescribing by my medical colleagues. So I can see some really exciting opportunities start to unfold with scope for not only improving what's being delivered now, but also some proactive observational research on such critical matters as our residents' quality of life while living in the different parts of the villages. The village experience is important in many ways, and we're acutely aware that social isolation and loneliness is a potent cause of poor health in our society. It's even been regarded as being as negative to your health status as an individual smoking 15 cigarettes per day. The final area of investment, which in some ways leads me to comment on the momentum of the company, is in the formation of a specific development and construction subcommittee of the board. This obviously has board members contributing, but also external expert advice is being obtained. Anthony Lees, who recently joined the board, is the founder and managing director of the well-respected Christchurch commercial building company Lees Construction. He's proven himself to be an excellent appointment. He has extensive experience in this arena, and he's undertaken leadership of this subcommittee. It's been really great to see the executive leaders of our areas in construction, design and development embrace the value proposition of such a committee as we look to double our build rate over the next few years. If we just reflect for a moment, Ryman in many ways is actually 4 quite significant companies under one umbrella. We are a care provision company, we're a property development and construction company, a property management company, and a real estate sales company. The direction we're moving to as a board is to ensure that these different areas receive greater focus by subcommittees of the board, who obviously then would report to the board, but this hopefully enables the directors of the company to keep their focus on deep dives into specific areas of challenge and to keep themselves focused on the medium and long-term forward planning and value creation. Coming back to the matter of momentum, I think it's probably worth noting that we aren't in pursuit of growth purely for growth's sake. The driver for us, with respect to growth, is to deliver what we believe is a high-quality experience in residential living and care to as many older citizens as possible. So our purpose is what drives us, rather than a pure desire for growth. As you'll see from our land bank across New Zealand and Australia, and particularly in Victoria, 50% of our planned build will continue to be care-related. The momentum the company has built up is very significant. We've talked previously about 5 villages opening by 2020 in Victoria, and this target continues to be realistic. We've recently acquired a further site in Victoria, taking the total sites we own in that state now to 9. Suffice to say, the demographics, which I'm sure you all understand well, will continue to deliver a strong flow of residents to this sector. The first slide shows you the current demographics which have driven our growth to date. And this next slide shows you the growth opportunity that exists over the next 40 years. These demographics and our unique village offering underpin our medium-term target, which remains to double our underlying profit every 5 years. That works out to be, on average, 15% growth per annum. Naturally, given there's always variability in the short term and given the size of the developments that we undertake, this will vary from year to year. It's now my pleasure to hand over to Gordy, and thank you for listening.